Hello everyone, welcome to Swirlpool, the podcast that will test your head and your mind and your brain too. We're a podcast, we consume entertainment and then we discuss it for your entertainment. I'm here with the Vortex crew as always.
Hey everybody, Grim Chorizo here, and there's no real easy way to say this, but I figure I'll just come out with it here on the air. I have been diagnosed with, stick it to the man, Yosis.
Oh no, I'm so
sorry. Oh no, what is that? I've never heard of that.
It's hell.
That's good because it's hell.
Yeah.
Well, Fiend here. Everybody should go check out Aladdin, the new live-action film.
We went and saw Aladdin yesterday.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a really cool movie. They did a really good job as far as doing a live-action version of...
Good adaptation.
Yeah.
Disney needs more... You got to plug the Disney, because it's not popular enough.
But like...
Don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah. But, you know, this was an easy one for them, because... It's real people, and it's not trying... I'm skeptical on The Lion King, because it's...
Yeah.
You know,
it's like all, sort of live action, but not really.
But not, because it's all CG animated, I'm pretty sure. So it's like... But yeah, anyways, everybody go check out Aladdin. It's a good movie.
All right, and Chris here, and my new neighbors really like basketball.
Oh.
They live on the corner there, and I'm actually surprised.
Always shooting some hoops?
Well, I was kind of worried, because like I thought we would just be hearing like a dull...
Oh, well now we know if we hear some...
Yeah, well, because I'm like, cool, like, people who actually like to do, like, I'm happy for them that they have...
Outside,
like,
active.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's just... It's heartwarming seeing them out there, like, father and son, but I was just kind of like, oh.
Between the hours of blank and blank, we will be recording
a podcast.
Like
on the hour, every hour, it's like shooting some hoops and stuff. All right, so, well, Fiend, you kind of jumped the gun on the show and tell.
Sorry,
but that's good. No, that's good because we got yours out of the way. Is there anything else you want to say about Aladdin other than that was awesome?
No, the music was great.
Okay, I'm curious. Did you have a favorite song or scene from it? I haven't seen it.
Yeah, what's your favorite improvement?
I've seen the original, obviously, but I didn't know if you had a favorite part of this new one.
Or actor or whatever.
The guy who played Aladdin was pretty cool. I felt like he played Aladdin.
He's like a new act, like not
pretty
new,
well
but he's not
as like.
They didn't cast Tom Cruise as Aladdin. You know
what
I mean? So it's like, it's cool they got actual people to play, like new actors.
That is cool.
And Will Smith did a good job of doing a different style of Genie. Definitely wasn't trying to take over Robin Williams. And I think people need to realize that.
Yeah, and also it's like, why if you're doing something new, you don't want it to be beat for beat exactly the same.
Right.
Yeah. You know?
And like they do some throwback things. Like just like you have to catch it while you're watching the film. Sure. As far as like some of the art or whatever.
Really like Easter eggs and stuff. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but no, it was really good.
That's awesome. Yeah. What about you, Grim? What's your show and tell?
Well, so I'm still all hyped up from it's E3 week, so I mean lots to talk about there, but I just have to say Nintendo's showcase just happened recently, and I mean so much good stuff.
Is your body ready?
Yes, my body is ready specifically for Banjo-Kazooie in Super Smash Bros. I don't know, Fiend, did you hear that?
I didn't tell him. I was like, I'm not gonna.
Awesome.
There was some awesome stuff, but yeah, Banjo-Kazooie
I told him about
in.
So
Smash.
how is it made by Rockstar?
You mean Rare?
Rare, yeah.
So no, I think
because Rare did Ukulele.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Banjo is now owned, like the IP is owned by Microsoft. Rare doesn't own it. Right. So Microsoft just must have signed the rights.
Yeah, Nintendo and Microsoft are now like cool.
They're like they have this weird.
Well, Microsoft also realizes that if they want to reach out to anywhere else in the United, other than the United States,
they need
have
to team up.
So
now it's PlayStation is the odd man out.
Yeah, they're like,
come on, come play Fortnite with us. And PlayStation is like,
I looked at some stat. It was crazy as far as like sales.
Japanese people don't buy Xboxes.
No, they don't buy anything Xbox or Microsoft.
Just PlayStation, Sony, and Nintendo.
It's crazy. Like
it's because it just doesn't cater to their likes. You know, Xbox is like Gears of War and Halo and stuff like that, and Japanese, fan base, they like RPGs and like
Final Fantasy.
Exactly, and
RPG for
and certain things that just appeal to them, and PlayStation obviously and Nintendo obviously like hit that niche. So it's one of those things where it's really smart of them to do that, and it's also kind of like it's like an olive branch. Like but it's a bear and a bird. It's like
and exactly.
Well, to build off what you were saying, the design of them looks super good. Like,
they look great.
Really nice.
It's not too cartoony. It looks very. We'll watch it after this.
I mean,
the pod
I could talk so much about it, but I mean, Animal Crossing. And Breath of the Wild sequel.
Ooh. Dude, that looked so scary.
Yeah.
When that was playing the music, it's like reverse talking. I was like, this is like Twilight Princess.
It's like horror stuff.
Yeah, so I think that they're going like under the castle, Zelda and Link. And,
okay.
And like deep in the crypts, and it looks like they find like Ganon's like corpse, his like. And he comes to life like a lich or something. So it's like, I think the next one's going to be like a really dark,
that's cool,
scary game. It's really creepy.
So there's other stuff. Spyro trilogy's coming to Switch.
Cool. We're going to play so many of these games on the channel.
But definitely stoked. But the Banjo-Kazooie thing, that was my big one because, I went in and I was like, we're probably going to get some Animal Crossing stuff. And we did, which I was super hyped about. But I was like, there's no way we'll actually get Banjo and Kazooie in Smash. But we do. So
So they just come into Smash, though? Or
no new game confirmed.
But you never know now.
We don't know.
Maybe they'll port over the old ones or remaster
Seems
them
likely.
or a third one. Like
more like
nuts and bolts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was worried their design would be the nuts and bolts weird design, but no, it was beautiful.
The old, really like
blocky
fat banjo that's like
Lego.
Yeah, blocky banjo, yeah.
All right, well, picking up from there, my show and tell was a little bit ago. I was staying up late, and I was like, I'm just going to put a movie on, and there's all these movies on Amazon Prime that you can watch. And one of them that I'd been meaning to watch last year was, speaking of remakes, the Suspiria remake.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Suspiria is like this, it's a very, iconic sort of visually...
Like Italian, right? Italian movie?
Yeah, so it's an Dario Argento, sort of like, known for like his style, his directing style. It's kind of like a Kubrick or any other like sort of director who has like using very vibrant colors and weird dreamy sequences, and everything feels like you're in a nightmare when you're watching it. And I was like, how are they going to remake this? And the answer to that question is by just completely doing it differently, and it was so awesome. It was really, so instead of like bright vivid colors, it's like depressing and dreary, and it somehow is, however long the movie is, I'm just anxious and like feeling like I'm gonna like wanting to die the entire movie, because it's just so, especially like horror that isn't jump scare horror.
Right.
This is like just dread. It feels like dread, like you're going towards something. And it's meta because, like, one of the characters is kind of that, too. She, like, knows what's going on, but she's like, it was so... And then, I mean, I have to say, when the climax and the end happened, I didn't dig what they did with it, but it is so fucking good up until the end. And even the end, like, I think will grow on me, but I was just really impressed with it. It was very much... It's a remake that reinvents it. It's more of, like they said, it's not a remake, it's a reimagining, and I think that's really a good way to put it. It's not trying to be the same thing, and it just like, oh man, like just thinking about certain scenes, I'm just like, I get like the chills, because it was like, it was disturbing. Like, and as a horror fan, gore, I love stylized gore, like unrealistic gore, I love it. It's like awesome. I love like the style of horror movies, but this had like some really, really like fucked up shit going on. So I would recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen that and likes horror. It's just, be ready for some commentary. It's like very dark, nihilistic shit. It was like really fucked up. We'll have to watch it sometime. If you're
watched the original one and thought it was definitely interesting and interesting to watch.
It's just crazy because when you watch this one, you're like, man, that makes the original one look like very simple and like straightforward, and this one's just like, oh my god, like, so it's trying to say so many things, but it was good though, very good.
Yes.
Not gonna watch it again for a little bit though, because
I'll have to check it out. Sounds good. Is it a free or is it a rental?
It's free on Prime.
Nice. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because some I had to rent School of Rock on Prime.
Yeah, I just bought it because I wanted to.
When I watched it, it was only 99 cents. So I was like,
right. Speaking of School of Rock, like we're gonna be talking about one of our, or at least for me, I don't know about you guys, but this was one of the movies that I always was like, it's like a guilty pleasure. But it is not.
It's just a pleasure.
It's not a guilty pleasure at all. It's a great movie.
It was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and it still is one of my favorite movies of all time. Legit.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I guess I just didn't, there was like a long span where I didn't watch it. But it was like my thing where it's like kind of like a comfort film. Like you can just throw it in and it's fun, goofy, very lighthearted. But it's just one of those things where it's not a guilty pleasure because there's nothing wrong with it. Like I don't know. Like this is gonna be maybe one of the first things I just universally praise. Like, what do you guys think generally about the film, other than?
Well, overall, while we're kind of diving into this, so this movie came out in 2003, which around that time, obviously, Chris and I
ties in well.
Our brothers, so we kind of got into a lot of the same stuff together. He'd get into something, and it kind of would rub off on me. But this was around the time that I remember we were getting into like rock music and stuff.
Yeah,
and
2003 was the year for me.
So School of Rock coming out, it was like. It came out at the perfect time because it capitalized on all that and it threw all these bands that maybe you'd heard the name of, but then,
or even if you just
because you hear the songs and you see the stickers throughout, so and then they have the chalkboard with all.
Well, I was gonna say the chalkboard,
and you see all these things, and it's like your brain goes like, "Oh my god, look at all these bands I have to check out," or. Now you're just exposed to them.
It also validates for like a new fan. It's like it mentions something you like, and you're like, "Whoa, cool!" Like,
because going into it, I was
like, Ramones,
I remember considering
Nirvana,
myself I like rock, but like, I liked AC/DC or Metallica or whatever. And then it just introduced you to so much, and it was cool to see rock and roll or whatever. Like, getting like,
we need to kind of put some context.
That really kind of.
Catapulted you into
that, and a lot of kids, I'm sure.
It's 2003. Garage rock revival is happening. Okay, so this is around the time when everyone was like, "Rock is dead," like for real, like it's fucking dead. Pop had taken over. Hip hop, was there was, but then like we had, for example, like the White Stripes, like blow up, and you had like garage, like the Hives were really big, and you had like basically you had
and stuff.
The Strokes were like huge, like all these bands, and then that's not to mention just like the butt rock and nu metal stuff that was going on. But I'm talking like back to the old rock, actual like you had like retro rock, like Wolf Mother and The Darkness, and bands like that were like they were like, hey, we like. And Jet, I could just go on, but these bands were they were big, like, and so 2003 was when I discovered Fuse. It was like my MTV.
Yeah, definitely.
So it just indoctrinated me with that metal show and all the Loaded.
I loved watching those shows.
Loaded, it was just like,
Slave to the Metal.
That's exact. Shit. But like Loaded, it'd be like, the Pixies for a half hour. And then you get all the best Pixies songs. So that's why I like the Pixies now. It's like, for me, this movie came out at that perfect time. Like like Grim was saying, we went and saw that with our grandma.
Yeah. Well, I actually, not to...
No, just continue, build off of it.
I remember when it was coming out, when, they were showing trailers and stuff, and previews, and I just being like, we have to see this. And I remember specifically hearing from... an older friend who had just seen the movie and just asking all these questions about it because I was just so curious. I was like, what happens? And, he didn't spoil it for me or anything, but like, do you hear this band? Do you hear this? And then we went and saw it, and our grandma took us, and it was just... that
was weird. Because I'm pretty sure she
really
was like,
cool.
Oh, no, what have I done?
Yeah, but really cool to say we got to see School of Rock with our grandma.
So your grandma was basically like the parents in the movie, where they're like,
I don't know.
You can't be playing music, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe not so much,
but there were just certain parts where...
I get what you're saying.
It was like the god of rock and all this stuff. I'm like,
I get what you're saying, but like, kind of in a sense.
It probably had a bigger effect than I realized, because it just kind of... I guess what I was trying to say by going back in time is like rock is becoming mainstream again, because then a couple years later we get Guitar Hero.
I was gonna say School of Rock and Guitar Hero are two things that
it validates your love of rock.
If those two things didn't happen, obviously kids would still get into rock and know these bands one way or another. But I feel like those two things really did a lot for kids, especially because Guitar Hero. It's like I'm gonna play this game. Now I know all these songs and I know these bands. School of Rock, same thing. It's just and they were only a few years apart.
It's a gateway, It's like a gateway into it.
I guess so.
Did you, Fiend? Did you see it when it first came out, or did you see it like later down the line?
Probably when it came out on DVD.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we all probably watched it together.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I would pull that movie out just.
Because I was in high school when it came out. I mean,
like my general thought about it is it's like one of those movies. I think it's kind of like timelessly made. Like, I guess, like, it feels timeless. Like, I don't... Some movies you watch, like a comedy or something for kids, and
definitely.
You're like, this isn't going to age well.
When I was rewatching it, I was like, I probably did pull quite a few bands from this that...
Right.
From, like, looking at it and stuff, or watching it and listening to it. And, like, I didn't even think about it, the bands that played through, like, the songs that played throughout the film.
The soundtrack,
Yeah, the soundtrack is... great.
Yeah. Like, extremely eclectic.
Like, when they're working on, practicing for the...
Are you talking about the montage?
The montage with
the Ramones.
That's like one of the best scenes.
That is one of the best scenes.
I was like, man,
film,
that's such a great song, too. Like,
I would go out on a limb and say that's one of the best montages in a film. Because it's just so good. Like, there's so much good about it. Like, what you were saying kind of is like, nothing about it dates it. Like, it feels like it could be set in any
you can still
time
play
period.
Today, show it to somebody new for the first time, and it still feels like
doesn't feel like the 2000s. You know what I mean? Which a lot of things, here's the thing, a lot of things in the 2000s, albums, movies, shows, they're so 2000s.
They feel straight like 2003, where this, it could be made now or play now, or it could be the 90s or whatever.
But that's a huge compliment to it, I think, is that it's going to, like, it stands like the test of time.
So another thing that I feel like is really big and important here is obviously the main star of the film is Jack Black.
Right.
Who, this was the first thing I think I probably saw Jack Black in.
Mm.
Oh, yeah?
Where...
I mean, it makes sense. 2003. Yeah. You're what, like 9 years old or something?
Yeah, right, I see this, and now Jack Black is one of my favorite actors. Obviously, Tenacious D, love Tenacious D. But he's basically playing Jack Black in this movie, but I feel like this was...
It was written for him.
Yeah. But this is the first movie that I feel like it was like, this is Jack Black. Or maybe not, because he's...
Well, High Fidelity was his first... so that was in the 90s.
Yeah.
And he played like a really record store.
Yeah, he was a record store
guy. Was
very
Jack...
Was not,
he was very close. It wasn't... Okay, so here's the thing.
Like...
He did a thing. He did a performance on stage in High Fidelity where he was in Jack Black mode, but it was reined in.
Right.
And he also had a part where he was dancing and he was doing like the whole Tenacious D thing, like licking his fingers and like playing with like pussy and shit. He was but this is like him and
Mike White.
Mike White.
Yeah, Mike White was in it and he wrote it, right? He was.
So was he?
He has a company.
Was he? Are we talking
Schneebly.
about? We're talking about School of Rock here.
Yes. Sorry, jumping back to School of Rock, but he had written... He
wrote School of Rock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
And he also played Ned Schneebly.
Right, I knew that.
But he was the type where he and Jack had kind of a partnership, and he would write like I believe he was involved with Nacho Libre as well.
He was.
And so the writer. So.
I watched a little behind the scenes thing, and Mike White was saying that he was like neighbors, kind of lived near Jack, and he was getting to know Jack and kind of experience how he is, and he had this idea for like a movie where Jack Black would have a band, but it would be a bunch of kids as like his backup band. So then he wrote this whole thing of School of Rock,
right? Like a treatment,
and he was worried. He's like, "Oh God, what if he hates it? I just spent 6 months writing this thing just about one. Like no one else could do this.
It's an idea, not even like a real like
And then he shows it to him, and he loves it. So
he said he was worried that Jack would be like, "Oh man, all this has to go," but he's like, we should mention Motorhead here.
Yeah.
Like that was all his notes were just like, because Jack Black is like, he's a huge, like, loves Dio, loves metal. Like, I mean, obviously we're a huge Tenacious. We will jump into Tenacious D sometime too.
Yeah.
Something about this film that has to be said. What's the worst part of a movie usually? Like as far as acting goes. Just any movie. Usually. It's like, oh, so-and-so was good, but the blank kind of sucks.
Oh, sure. I get what you're saying.
The kid actors usually suck in movies.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you kind of, it's like, but I mean, they're a kid. Like, what can you do?
True.
The kids in this movie are fucking awesome.
Yeah, they're all awesome.
And I think it's because they literally had this connection to Jack Black where it's like they were just improvising.
He definitely related to them.
And I mean,
he's like a big child.
On that behind the scenes stuff, you see him just interacting with it, like playing. They play like sticks or whatever the game where you like hit the finger and then it's like 2 and then it's like 3, They would like, and he'd just goof around with them because you have to think they're 9, 10-ish years old.
10. Most of them were 10.
Like, well, I mean, the only older kid was the drummer. He was a little older than the rest. He was like 15. So he looked like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, they're kids, and he's this goofy dude who's just having a good time with them and making them feel have fun and So yeah, definitely the kids
steal the show
were
for
great.
sure.
All of them. No one
of my favorite scenes,
only one
as far as like the kids go.
Yeah,
I think I'm trying to remember the exact moment. It was when he was in first becoming a substitute teacher.
Sure, yeah,
and like he was talking to the class or whatever, and like that one little girl was like being snooty back or whatever. And
Summer.
Yeah, but like it only showed his face, but it caught me.
God.
It was the redheaded kid, and his face is just like. I mean, you can't see his face, but he was just kind of like, kind of like, what? Like he had like a shocked. I don't know. It just
that's
made
what I was
me,
gonna say.
Like, think about to bring it up because
it just the kids steal the show.
He made me laugh when I saw his face. I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, you bring up the facial thing. What I was gonna say through this movie, we're probably gonna break this down more in detail. But like for me, my favorite part of the movie now, having seen it so many times, is just looking at all the kids in their faces and the little details because they are selling it. So there's so many moments where you just see like Jack Black's acting a fool, and I'm just like, okay,
that kid. That's probably what I was thinking.
That girl's just like her face is like, oh my god.
I'm pretty sure that's probably what this kid's reaction was.
It's
was
so
kind
fun.
of like
because that's like their real reaction. They're just like not sure what to make of it, and they're all so great. The only kid in the film, in character, who is like wooden is Zach, and that's because that is his character. He's shy. He's shy because he's because of his home life,
sheltered.
Yeah, he's being forced to be, even
though they're giving him access to playing music,
right?
He only play like classical.
He's being put in a box.
Yeah,
he's not free to express himself.
Right.
So he is doing a great job of whether the kid is just like, because, listening to an interview with that kid, he's like a very animated, lively kid. He's just doing a good job of being a kid who's shut down.
Being that character.
He's afraid to just do anything because he's so used to his dad just being like, stop,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I just want to say, like, the kids in this film, like, are so funny.
Yeah.
They're so
really good.
And while we're on it, the kids, obviously, all amazing, but I gotta praise the whole cast.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, Jack Black, obviously, we talked about. Mike White as Ned Schneebly.
Joan Cusack is so goddamn perfect.
As like the strict, uptight principal.
She just, the whole time, you can just see her like, she's so wound tight.
She's like
her lips are like pursed all the time. She's like, and she's got this thing where she's like almost on the verge of tears all the time. You can just
very
feel,
high strung and
like she's
stressed.
The part where she's like, she like goes, she has like her breakdowns and stuff. And she, like, I just love her story arc of like going from being like I'm gonna save like for the specific scenes because we're gonna talk about them, but oh my god, yeah. And also Sarah Silverman
is like, she plays the bitch so well.
It just made me so mad. Like,
that's the thing, is she's the perfect bouncing,
controlling,
but that's the thing, she's the perfect thing to play off of because the whole thing is that she's like, why don't you stand up for yourself, Ned? And like she's the
problem.
She's the one, like, and that's why it was beautifully well
and Jack's
done. I love Sarah Silverman.
Dewey's trying to like be like, dude, Ned.
I mean,
the fuck look.
Dewey is he's abusive as well, but she's abusive in a different way. It's like Ned is the only true victim throughout this whole film. If you think about it,
he really is the victim.
Yeah, it's like he's being abused on all sides. He finally stands up for himself though, and later, and it's like a very triumphant moment.
Right.
But it's just funny that like it takes him realizing that he's worth more than this other person.
Right.
Right.
Legit, I mean, I still think this is in my top easily 10 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Because it's funny. It has a fun plot. Like, it's a fun movie. The plot is good. The cast is amazing, as we said. It's extremely quotable. Like, one of the most quotable movies of all time to me.
Yeah.
And it's based around something that we love, music, rock music. And it has a great soundtrack. So, I mean, it's like ticks all the boxes of a great movie. So, you were saying, like, earlier, like, I think it might be a guilty pleasure.
Well, that's how I felt before, like, a couple years ago.
But when you look at it, it's just a damn great movie.
Yeah.
And it still holds up, and it's still definitely one of my all-time favorites.
All right, so the film opens up. This fucking opening is so badass.
Yeah.
Like, I love when movies like put the credits in the film and it's not just like a scroll.
In a way that like works for the movie.
Oh my god! Like, I was just like, the song rips.
Yes,
Holy
it does.
Shit. That song... What the hell happened to No Vacancy in this movie? Like, right. They start out and I'm like, oh my god, it's like, the gloves are off!
Yeah,
I was like,
badass riff and like...
I'm like, that shit is awesome. I'm like, dude, you guys are like heavy as shit. And then like, just like 2 days, literally like the next day, they're already like in...
shitty ballads.
So, they're in like, what is it? What's the shitty CD that was like power ballads? I can't remember what it was called.
Like,
they showed it in the
see on TV.
Yeah, like, the 2000s.
Buzz ballads.
Something like that. Yeah, it was really awful. But that's what they were. It was like the human
ballads of a lifetime.
Yeah, but yeah, that opening. Oh my god.
Fight. Because I used to have the soundtrack, and I would listen to the Fight, that opening track, all the time because it really does
just that
rip. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's fucking awesome. Yeah. But just that intro where it's going through the bar and
the stage dive.
Yeah, the stage dive is so awesome. Well, I love the part where it's like a Carrie King Slayer solo where it's like but it's just so fun. Apparently he based that on Jack Black saw oh god, what band was it? I think it was, I want to say The Cult. Maybe I'm wrong though. I can't remember, but he saw a guy from a band attempt to do a stage dive and that happened. So he was like,
no.
He's like I have to put that in the movie because it's just so like, I don't know. It's just the perfect way to set up this character, And you can see the band's like they're all like side-eyeing him. They're just kind of like looking at him like, oh, no. He's doing it again.
Yeah, they're like, here we go.
Yeah, and he like fucking biffs it off the stage, and then we segue into his like little, what would we call this?
Not even a room.
No,
a curtain.
It's
a little corner.
It's a bachelor corner. Yeah,
that was hung separated by bed sheets.
It's basically a record collection with a mattress in it.
Yeah.
And
in the corner of a house that he just happens to take up.
He kind of crashes in, yeah. But the thing, this is me going back, and what I was saying every time I go, now that I've watched it so many times, I'm like looking at all the details. Something jumped out at me at this. If you look at all the shelves, you can see all the stickers and the records and stuff. But right next to his head, because there's just a bottle of Pepto, a roll of toilet paper, and some like aspirin. So it's like perfect. It's literally like hangover, like he's like shitting his pants.
Oh my god!
I just thought that was so funny. Like,
hilarious.
Pepto, Advil, and toilet paper. It was like literally perfect. But yeah, and then we're introduced to Ned and Patty, which is also a very annoying name.
Patty.
Patty.
No offense to anyone named Patty out there. I'm sure you're...
Well, I'm sorry. It's just, it fits her well, Like, she's just, and obviously just nagging. Immediately you get the sense that there's a lot of improvising going on.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just having fun. Like, It's like, Mommy, can we talk about this later, please? Like, I love that moment where she's like, where's the
No, we can't talk about it later. Some of us have jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it goes into that. Obviously, he's always giving Ned Schnit.
He's giving Ned some Schneebly. He's giving some Schnit.
He's giving Ned Schnit because he is a substitute teacher, and he keeps calling him a temp.
Yeah.
So immediately he's like, I need rent money, which is literally the story of like every Tenacious D thing too. So
I wrote that down. I was like, dude, Jack Black's got some rent problems, man.
Maybe at a time in his life, he really was
moving to L.A.
rent problems.
You moved to L.A. or New York, which is where L.A. is where Jack Black really lived in the in the 80s and 90s, and then New York is where the movie's set, I believe. And,
it is.
But yeah, the movie had like, just also with the whole New York thing, it's like the whole movie feels like, even the school, the apartment, every shot on the street, the band rehearsal space, everything feels like a New York rock club. It's weird. I don't know what it is. It's like the way they just, everything's brick wall, flyers, weird light. I don't know. Like, it's just so well done. Like, it has a cohesive visual to it. Like, what's with the wallpaper in his apartment? It's like checkerboard, like neon, like highlighter shit.
Yeah.
It's like so weird. I don't know. But
so he goes to band practice. The guys could have told him before he showed up that he was out of the band.
There's another guy. He's like, who's this guy? And he's like this weird, kind of like a Dave Navarro type, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
well, even later on in the movie, he gets really
so
ridiculous.
It's like, awesome though. He's like this weird, but yeah, he's like
his name. is Spider.
I'm just gonna point it out right now while we're talking about him. I want a pair of those arm chaps.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I want a sex tattoo.
I want the pair of those leather arm chaps.
Yes. I love that you came up. I didn't know what to call that.
I wouldn't know. I didn't even know what to call them either.
Right.
The arm chaps I think would work.
That makes sense. Yeah,
yeah, that's better.
He's wearing just mesh and like like it's just.
Yeah, I called them a sleeves only jacket.
Yeah.
It's like instead of a sleeveless jacket, it's just the sleeve.
But it didn't have a collar or anything.
It's a shirtless
it was
sleeve.
Just like
No, you're right. It literally was.
It looked like just arm chaps. I don't know how else to describe them.
Chest chaps or arm chaps is perfect. That is literally the best way to describe it. But he's just like, "Sup, dude," and he's just like, and he obviously takes this pretty hard.
And I gotta say one thing. I always think of when he shows up and they're practicing the new song, the "Heal Me, I'm Heartsick." I'll always hear the lyrics as "I'm hungry, A minor G." Like, even when they perform the song later and he says the actual lyrics, I just hear A minor G as the lyrics.
Yeah, as someone who like teaches people how to play guitar, like that's a thing. Like when you're saying the lyrics, you just have to be like, go to this note, because it's like, and it always is like.
But always hear those as the lyrics, as A minor G.
But yeah, so he leaves the space after kicking a cymbal.
Ninja kicking.
Read between the lines. Yeah. And then we see him falling further. He's putting up that's a little bit later. But he's trying to sell his guitar.
Yeah, he's on the phone selling guitars.
Hendrix played this guitar.
And he gets the call to go to Horace Green.
Horace Green.
And he just doesn't. My favorite thing, just lumping this all together.
Right?
Yes.
Horace
Green. Let's be. He didn't get the call.
No, it's
Ned Schneebly got the call.
Hello, this is Ned Schneebly. Yeah.
I love his way he just kind of.
Yeah.
He's
rubbing the receiver.
He's banging on the table too.
Yeah.
He fumbled it or whatever. Like
Ned, phone.
This is one of my favorite scenes though, is when he's talking to Principal Mullins. Her name's
Rosalie Mullins.
And she's just like, okay, so blah blah blah, and it's like, and he's like, all right, can I?
When's lunch?
Well, no, that's later. But he's like,
okay.
He's like, so when do we start? It's like, well, we commence at 3 o'clock or whatever, and he's like, ooh, I got some shit to do. Can I bounce out early? And she's just like, Mr. Schneebly, we are one of the highest rated. I just love that. And he's like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I will stick around.
I can stick around.
Exactly.
It's okay. I can put this off for later.
It's just so perfect. Like, everything about that is just great. But then also, she's like, it's like, we're very strict code of conduct. It's like, that's fine. I have no problem taking a kid, smacking him upside the head. Yeah. It's like, oh no, we don't believe in corporal punishment here. He's like, this is just verbal abuse. It's just, like, that scene is great, probably top 3 for me, because it's just so funny, and seeing them play off of each other.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good.
And it's just from that right there, obviously it's a movie, but there already should have been so much suspicion on this guy, not knowing when
can
school
you make my
gets
check out
out
to Dewey Finn?
And then he also
can you give me cash?
Yeah, it's like, or just make it out to cash.
Yeah,
yeah.
So then he goes into the class and he's introduced. Well, he's introduced to the kids. The kids are. Can we just talk, also? I forgot to bring this up. The only kid. So Miranda Cosgrove. After this film,
she got huge.
She got big with Disney stuff.
iCarly and stuff.
She's like the only one, though, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
She kind of blew up. Yeah, it's one of those things you can kind of tell from watching the film, because she just has so much talent.
She was kind of like one of the starring kids for sure.
She definitely was. Right. Oh yeah, but it's just one of those things where I didn't realize when I watched it that I was going to be seeing her everywhere on TV for 10 years. I don't know what she's doing now, but I just found that interesting that there were 15 kids or something in this, and she's the, she was the breakout star. Yeah, and so immediately he's, shown to be obviously not cut out for this. He's I'm hungover.
It's also hilarious how he goes to write the name on the board and
he can't even.
The thing is, this is his best friend for how many years?
I know.
He doesn't even know how to spell his last name.
He's just what's he right? He's
to be fair,
SCHNEE.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? Call me Mr. S.
Yeah, that's great. To be fair, it's a fucking weird name, but it is also
Is it double? It's probably double ENBLI, isn't it?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
But it's just funny. He's like, my best friend or, someone I've known for so many years, can't even spell his last name.
He's like, all I need are minds to mold.
It's like those friends you have, if maybe some people don't, I don't know, but like, you never really know their first name because you've always heard them
around and stuff.
Always heard them as like a nickname.
Yeah.
That's like not even like related to their name or something, and like
sure.
You don't know their name or something.
Right. That's true. Like, or it's one of those things where you're never gonna say their full name. You only so and so, like their first name.
Right.
But yeah, so like you said, red flags everywhere. But I do really like just his immediate dynamic is just that he is the child, and these kids are more grown up than him. Because he's looking at the clock, and it's like, and it's like counting down, and he's like, "We did it, yes!" And he's high fiving him and all, like, because he just wants to eat. Like he steals. He just wants to get the
money and leave.
But he like stole a sandwich because he was hungover. He's like literally like, "I'm shitting my pants, kids. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna sleep." Like I can't imagine how that day went. Like some of them obviously were like stoked about it, but. The problem is the reason why the film is so fun is because it's not realistic. So the second you look at it through a realistic lens...
Although, there are times that I look back at school...
Some inept teacher, for sure.
What teacher probably was hungover now that I've
everyone probably had one. Yeah.
Maybe I had them.
Well, teachers are just people, And that's one of those things. But that's my thing that I just loved was he... he's not trying to be anything other than what he really is. He's not being fake at all. Right. I mean, other than to, the higher ups, but he's got this fucking scarf on and he's like, kids, I've got the runs. I have a headache. You're not going to get in trouble. Give me some turkey.
Although I will say, because I think he got the call and then that same day he showed up, right?
Yeah.
So he cleaned up. I mean, he shaved.
The afternoon. Because the teacher broke her leg, getting out of the tub or something. So,
So, are we assuming he raided Ned's closet and that's where he got that clothes? Because there's no way he has that stuff on.
I would wonder about that though, because then they would see him dressing up like that. You would think you would.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he does have that clothes. Those clothes. You're right. But I just assumed that he probably was wearing Ned's clothes.
Yeah, the only thing that puts a hole in that is that they see him dressing up to go to work, and they'd be like, "Why are you wearing his clothes?" And they fit him. Oh, that reminds me. Oh my God, the biggest thing. This is a literal note I wrote. Let me see what I actually wrote. I think I said the worst part of this film. Okay, yeah. Dewey's pants are baggy as fuck.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
Worst part of the movie for me is his pants. Because this was a thing in the 2000s. Like, we had friends who, they were, bigger guys or whatever. Their
pants... I even in the 2000s, I wore baggy
pants. Everyone did. But then, imagine being a slightly larger guy.
Right.
Everybody wore oversized clothes in the 2000s. I blame it on Fred Durst. It's your fault. But yeah, pants were like...
Jinko jeans, man.
But these weren't these were just khakis. I know. And they were like elephant legs, flapping. He's literally, when he's teaching them guitar and he's doing this with his foot, his pants are just flapping in the wind like a fucking sail on a boat. It's insane. I was just I could not believe those pants. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. That was a thing, definitely.
It was, but Jesus. So, yeah, he's taking a piss in little kid urinals, you can tell, because they go down, to the floor.
Yeah.
And he hears them playing, and holy shit, they are, way better than,
They're very good.
You can kind of tell, at one point, when he was doing that shred solo in music class or whatever, you can tell he's not actually playing. But I'm pretty sure the kids had to play that shit because otherwise they had to be really good at dubbing it. I was always
curious, if the kids actually learned how to play all those instruments.
Yeah,
they can play the rock ones for sure. Okay. That's why they were hired. Because a lot of them weren't actors, they just could kind of play. You know what I mean? See. But I'm wondering about the music lesson scene where he's doing his token eyebrow thing.
Right.
So in this scene. Right after that is awesome, where it plays Cream.
Yeah, that's another one.
And that's
of the
the first time I think I ever heard "Sunshine of Your Love." Probably
it was for me,
and it was very, very. It just is awesome. He's
iconic.
Another thing, no one sees him running through the halls 4 times with keyboards and drum kit pieces and stuff.
Not one person, but like we said, it's a movie. So,
or we can just assume, being basically a charisma bard of level 20, that he talked his way out of it somehow to a teacher.
Or I mean, it is a fucking prep school basically,
right? He's
where everybody's shut in their fucking classrooms,
right,
all the time.
Day. It's you're stuck in that homeroom for a long time,
eerily quiet in the halls,
yeah. They definitely make use of that in the film to like get away with doing insane shit.
Right.
But one thing I realized when I was watching, we were kind of talking, I was like, man, for a dude who like has nothing, like he probably stole all this shit from other bands, right? Like,
that's where all his money just went to. Like,
I was just thinking, like, I'm like, man, he's got like 4 little mini amps, a drum kit, like.
Well, at
5
one point
guitars.
in the school, I realized he's playing on like a mini, like a little
Marshall
like
strap thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, that's what, and we were just like, yeah, he's definitely just borrowed that from someone one time and never
brought
returned
it back. Yeah.
He just seems like that's my headcanon for how he got all that shit. And yeah, so he set up a nice little practice station, really. And right there, I'm like, okay, everyone would hear this. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Holy shit. Like,
I'm surprised it took him so long throughout the movie for one of the teachers to say, I think I hear music. Because when the principal comes in, later on in the film,
convenient
I know I kind of
plot
jumped
device.
ahead, but like,
you know,
it never happens until like towards the climax of the movie, like where
building tension and stuff. Yeah, that's why it's just convenient. But it's one of those things where it's like they, at one point, you know, like they soundproof the room or whatever. But I'm like, God, there's no. It's
that was their workaround. It's like, see, it's soundproof. Yeah. It's all good.
I did love the lengths to which they went to like monitor, like they had like cameras set up. It was just so cool. It was like Spy Kids or something.
Super cool. Yeah.
It was cool.
And another thing is back to Joan Cusack as the principal. One of the best scenes also is when the girl's in there and she's getting yelled at, and she's like, do you want a hug? And she's like scared shitless.
That's such a great moment for character building. It tells it. That's the thing that this movie does so well is it tells you everything you need to know about a character with like very little.
Right.
For example, once you see Dewey do the stage dive and wake up and talk to his roommates, you know, it's like you get it. And with Joan Cusack's character, the principal, her trying to intimidating. She's trying to be human, you know, she's trying to be what's the word, like approachable and normal,
but she's so weird. Scary to the
it just comes off terrible,
right? And it's perfect. Like that's such a great scene. Like there's so many moments like that where you get, and it's for how many kids there are in this movie too, you get a sense of each kid's personality like really quick, you know. It's really good. Okay, so he, you know, is like, he has them audition basically, which is a great little thing. He has them each play.
Yeah, they all play their instruments. Their stuff. We got
gets them to play "Smoke on the Water," which is like the ultimate Guitar Center song.
The ultimate. Like.
So it's like perfect, you know. And then the rest of the kids are like, well, what the fuck? We want to be in the band.
I mean, we got cello. You got a bass, and
he's like
Lawrence is good at piano.
Essentially, the kids, you know, the extra kids, he has to kind of plug them into. Pretend he has to basically mask the whole thing as a
school project.
Which
I have to say about that, when I was younger, I understood what was happening, but it didn't register to me really what was that
it was he was just using these kids.
I mean, obviously I was like, well, he's using them or whatever. But as a kid, it just went over my head, I guess. I didn't think about that. I was like, it's cool. They're getting to play music at school. That's awesome. But as I get older and watch, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like,
so much
manipulation.
So much negligence.
Because these kids, for the most part, most of them, really care about school and their grades. And they're like, oh my God, a school project.
Because their parents are hammering into them.
Yeah, we're going to go all in on this. The only reason most of them are putting all this effort in is because they think it's for school.
They really care.
As a kid, I was just like, they're just playing music or whatever. But it really hit me. I was like, shit, that's so
Which brings
cool.
me back to Dewey being a huge dick and a huge asshole. Oh, yeah. Like he literally does manipulate everyone in his life. The thing is that he's also just a likable guy.
Yeah.
I think this is around the time when Lawrence, the keyboard kid, he has his famous handshake moment, right? Because he selects him to play. He plays the Doors. And
flawlessly, by the way.
Well, that's the thing. So in the behind the scenes, they talk about how Lawrence, the guy who I forget the actor's name, but the kid who played Lawrence,
Robert Sy or something.
Yes, that's correct. He is exactly like the kid the character he played in that he's classically trained. They had to teach. They spent weeks just making him play rock style in that
on keys, so he could
just loosen it up a bit, you know, because like the whole thing in this thing, he's like, I can put music in front of you and you'll play it, but that's not what rock is. I need you to like add a little something
to
it.
Right.
Yeah, add some feel to it. But he's like literally a robot, you know. Right. And so it's cool because like
it's like you're doing a little acting like a little
and
robot.
Same problem with Zach is that he was a classical guitarist, so it's the same problem. But it's funny that like the character.
It was very relatable.
The same thing,
to the real person.
Whereas the Zach kid, the kid who played Zach in the movie, he's a really good. He had to teach Jack how to play guitar.
Yeah, that's true.
And the behind the scenes, Jack can't play guitar very well. I mean, he can play bar chord. I mean, we've heard Tenacious D. He'll be singing and then he'll just grab the guitar and go like, dang, 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 dang. He'll just like. But he's not. He was like, I can't play electric guitar. I can't do riffs and stuff. So he had to basically learn a lot. Like he's like the kids are better than I am at a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lawrence has his moment of being like, I'm not cool enough to be in the band, and
I'm not cool enough.
Yeah, and Ned, well not Ned, but Dewey is like, dude, like you can play in a band, it's fine. You're really cool. That makes you the bee's knees or whatever.
Right.
And it's like this is the start of something that it's kind of like it's not a great message, but it is that like being cool is like more about. It's not how you look or anything. It's about who you are and what you can do. And like,
and that's a theme throughout. Like, I mean,
it's such a positive film. Okay, like without jumping the gun, this is the first movie ever I can think of. Like, think of the time period. There's a gay little kid in it, and they just celebrate his love of fashion. They don't make him feel. They're not making.
They don't even like point out, hey, this kid's gay as hell.
They're just fancy pants. Yeah, you can make the. You can make.
He just wants to be a fashion designer.
He's
like,
awesome.
Show for it, man.
It's so cool. He's like, yeah, that's what you are good at. Do it. And then, like awesome. You're overweight. Who gives a fuck? I'm overweight. You know, it's such a positive film. Like that. I think it's like so good for kids to watch movies like that and see themselves on screen. Like there's like all sorts of kids in this film, and it's like really good. They're all taken for what they are, and they're not like changed. It's not. There's no maliciousness in it. Yeah. Like he gives them all like nicknames that are making fun of them in a very lighthearted
kind of
way.
Offensively, but not like enough that it's actually.
It's almost like lovingly in a way.
Yeah,
it's like a rock thing where it's like, what's the one thing that's fucked up about you? That's your name now.
Like, that's
it's
true.
Like embrace what's wrong with you. You know, like and that's what, or not wrong with you. What's unique about you?
Right.
And it's so cool.
That is
So that was just the start of it.
Yeah,
and then
I have to point this out because as I was watching it, it came back to me. I was like, holy shit. I have the exact same guitar strap as Dewey Finn because I saw it at a local music shop and I was like, oh my god, that's the one that he used in the movie, and I got it and I still have it at home. It's that whitish like kind of like looks kind of like a rug design on it.
It is like a rug, yeah.
I have that exact strap, so I just had to point that out that was that I still have that strap because of this movie, and I think that's pretty cool.
No, yeah, I remember being like, that's why you got it? I thought it was just a coincidence.
No, I saw it at the shop, and I was like, oh, gotta get it. And I also have to say that the extent of my knowledge of the musical Cats is Summer singing that one line of Memory. I think that's basically all I've heard of Cats.
I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah, she does.
It's the most famous part, so...
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you aren't singing.
And he's giving them all their roles, and he's like, you guys are security, I need you to, figure out the light show. He gives them all roles, and it comes down to the final three, which is Miranda Cosgrove and these two little blonde girls, and he's just like, groupies. And I was just like, oh my god. Jesus. Like, even then, I was like, as a kid, I once I figured out I was like, it's kind of fucked up, but... But it's just one of those things where he's just like, yeah, you worship the band. And then, obviously, Miranda Cosgrove's character, Summer, being a little, smarty pants. She went on Google and figured out what groupies were. Hopefully not too much, but... Yeah. And she's like, groupies are sluts. They sleep with the band. And he's like, once again, master manipulator.
Yeah, covering it up. Okay, you're the band manager then. She's like...
He was saving it. It was a secret weapon. Right. It's so funny, though. He's like... He's treating them. He's just such a child. He's like, I am the leader of the band. Okay, like I'm not getting kicked out. It's like he is dead serious.
This is my band.
He's like, and he makes him do a Pledge of Allegiance, which is really fucking funny. Like you can just see how burned he is by the thing. He to him, it's like this is literally dead serious.
Yeah. Which is. So he asked students like their influences, which I have to say, at least when I was their age.
Yeah.
If somebody asked me my music influences at, I don't know what, 9, I'd probably be like, Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack.
Yeah, video
or something. Music. Or Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, Weird Al.
They actually had some They actually named artists and
it's
stuff.
What kids would be listening to at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I'm surprised there wasn't more, like, I guess it was 2003.
What did they say? Christina Aguilera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
okay. Which I was thinking was more late 90s, but I guess, I don't know.
Christina Aguilera is 2000s.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's been, it's all a fucking blur for me. Because I just have memories of being in grade school and having, like, tape day, as they called it, in music class. God. And everyone would bring their...
Like a CD or something.
And I didn't have any, like... I just listened to what my dad was doing.
because I made fun of a kid for bringing some CD that I didn't really like.
That's the thing. I didn't like music until I was like a certain age, like so.
And the teacher was like, "You can't do that because that's what he likes." And I was like,
"Yeah, music is subjective, dude." But yeah, like for me, it was like I didn't know. Like people were bringing in the Jackson 5 and like and Backstreet Boys and shit, and I was like, I like REM because my dad listens to that and Kiss.
I actually did bring something in twice because I'll bring in something I like, and everyone was doing like the I'm Blue song and like NSYNC and Britney Spears, and I brought in Led Zeppelin 2. And I wanted to play Heartbreaker, and the teacher, legitimately this happened. She's like, "Oh, we got to play track 1, and it's Whole Lotta Love."
And it's like,
because she was like, "We have to listen to it." I was like,
and they forgot about the orgasm.
And there's like a 2-minute orgasm solo basically, and obviously all the other kids are just like, "The fuck's going on?" And I'm like, This is my shit, though.
Yeah. Well, that was I mean, here's the thing. When I was getting into... So, I was getting into playing guitar...
at that time,
5th grade for me, and that was what? That'd be like... Jesus Christ. What age are you in 5th grade?
I don't know.
No, they're in 5th grade in this...
okay.
So, I'd be like 9 or 10.
10.
So, it was like 1999.
They said there were 10 in the show.
So, 2000 is when I'm starting to get into playing guitar. So, this is 3 years, but I still didn't know any good music. It was Weird Al... I think I liked Metallica and Nirvana, and that was like it.
Yeah.
Because that was all I had heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was like you got made fun of for liking rock and guitar stuff. It's like I remember literally being like, "Oh, that guy!" Like someone came to play guitar at school, like for like a thing, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I have the same guitar stand," and some kid was like, "Nobody cares," and it was just like, kids are dicks, know. Like, but yeah, that's the thing. Like, I also remember being at like a party, and it's like, "You don't like rap," and literally the music stopped. Like, that's my memory of that.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was just then Guitar Hero happened, and yeah, everyone and their mom was like, "I like guitar."
It's like rock's cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he goes over, their classes, which obviously as a kid and still now, I guess, would be the classes I want to take. Rock history, rock appreciation, band practice.
And theory.
And theory.
Yeah.
But then he's talking about how he is going to provide the music. So that Zach's like, play us something. So obviously he's like now backpedaling, like, oh.
That was so fun. Yeah. That was so perfect.
He's like, well, I don't have a...
he gets out the tuning thing. It's
like,
like
teeth of the tongue, or tip of the tongue, teeth in the lips, and then he presents his song, which is so good because he's presenting it like Spotlight on Me, and then Fog.
It was a Spinal Tap moment.
Yeah, and
let's be real, it was a Spinal Tap moment
for sure.
And then he, chimes Freddie and like saying everything, but the song is
awful.
Legend of the Rent. It's so
juvenile.
It's so spot on and specific to.
This goes back to the theme of the thing. Dewey is a child.
Yeah.
His
lyrics are about literally an actual event in his life, but the lyrics
presented
are
without irony at all, or metaphor.
But that's no metaphor.
Later when they're writing the songs, it's the same thing.
Exactly. Well, that's. I think it does such a great job of showing Dewey is just not good. He even says there's a moment later on. He's like, "I'm not good, you guys, but you guys are." And that's what's so great about the movie is it presents him. He is just he's good at sharing a love for something, but he's not a great musician.
Great, And then obviously the band has to be named, and one of the best suggestions. How about Pig Rectum?
That I watched that back 3 times just to watch the little girl's face because you can just see she's like, I can't believe I said that. But the lunchroom scenes in this are consistently some of the best ones because him interacting with the other teachers and the kids coming up and trying to share ideas and behind, and he's like, shut up, just stop, don't talk about the project outside.
Well, it's a little fishy when you've got one of your kids coming up. It's like, how about everybody wears these
magenta
sequins? And the teacher's probably like, what the fuck you talking about, kids?
Yeah, Billy. But the Pig Rectum line was good.
Which brings me to another point later when Zach comes up and he's like, Mr. Sneeby is like,
great lesson.
I dug that lesson, great lesson today. And he's like,
yeah.
And the other teachers are like,
say that.
Yeah. Yeah, the other teachers are like, wow, maybe this guy's good. This guy's good.
It's so perfect.
It is hilarious him bullshitting with all the other teachers just like, I prefer no testing, or where he's like...
And I'll tell you why, because I think... And he just quotes a
song,
like a Marvin Gaye song or something. But also that time, like this, I didn't get. There was like this joke.
Didn't they call him out on that?
Yeah, he's like, I think that's a song.
He's like, yeah.
It's like, nope, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But one of the parts, he was like, it's just like coming in like to a conversation, and he's like talking about how he almost like got a spot on like the Polish Philharmonic, and he's like, and I didn't get it, and you know who did? Lil Nepetiz.
Yeah, Yo-Yo Ma's cousin. Lil Nepetiz.
But I didn't get. I thought that was like a rap name when I was a kid. Lil Nepetiz.
Yeah.
But nepotism, like I get it now. Nepotism is like someone's family member getting a spot on something.
Okay, that makes sense.
He's saying there's a little nepotism involved.
Okay, that's
so Yo-Yo Ma's cousin got the spot.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like as a kid, that just went.
Yeah, I just thought it was a funny line. Which short story off of that. In high school, we did Madrigal's performance, and we had to do there's just a part where we have to just act like we're at the table up front just shooting the shit. So I said that line or whatever, and it was Yo-Yo Ma's cousin, Little Nepetiz, and everyone was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, but like loudly so everyone can hear it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll think back to that.
I have a note about that scene. There's a teacher eating a hot dog with a fork, and I thought that was fucked up.
Oh!
Like, the tip was cut off, and she had it on the fork, and she was, like, eating the hot dog out of the bun. Yeah.
Out of the bun?
And she was eating...
She was slicing the bun, even?
No. That was what was even weirder about it. It was like...
So she didn't want the bun, she just wanted the dog.
I think so, but it was just funny, because she wasn't eating it. It was sitting on the plate, but I thought it was, like, a funny... Like, another little funny detail. It was like, she's so... It's like a prep school, so it's like they eat the hot dogs with like a fork and knife, like just slice
dip the bread.
It had mustard.
Water
it had some mustard on it.
Oh, okay.
So at least it wasn't like.
At least they didn't disgrace a hot dog with some ketchup.
I just thought that was funny, and then so it cuts back from there to them rehearsing.
The montage is next. Yeah.
But this is another little detail. They're rehearsing the Legend of the Rent, which is a shitty song.
Yeah.
But it zooms in, and Tamika is like looking at the band longingly.
Like she wants to
sing. Like I never noticed that. Like it's such a good little moment. She's like literally just looking so depressed.
Yeah, I always caught on to that. She always was just kind of quiet. And
I'm an idiot and never noticed it.
I guess she kind of like...
Yeah, she was always shy, but I didn't realize literally they're playing and she's like looking at them like I think
I did notice that on this watch through.
That was the thing.
I
just noticed it this most recent watch.
And then she comes up to...
Yeah,
Mr. Schneebly.
He's handing out music recommendations, basically.
Which is awesome.
Homework.
Like, what did he end up giving her? Oh, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Great Gig
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, Great Gig in the Sky.
Great Gig in the Sky. Yeah. Because she just like blew him away, and he's like, why the fuck did he say anything, girl?
Right. Like, and that's also another thing. A lot of people are really talented, but don't have the they need someone to push them.
Yeah, or like they don't have that self-confidence to get over that. Like,
so let's go over the recommendations he gives. He gives
Led Zeppelin 1, I'm guessing to
Freddie.
He gave him.
Freddie was Rush.
Rush. I'm guessing Led Zeppelin 1 had to have been Katie because you don't see who gets it, but I'm just guessing maybe. Yeah. For John Paul Jones
Freddie was definitely Rush 2021.
And then Yes
or was
for...
Is it 2021?
Yeah, 2112.
Oh, 2112, yeah.
Yes for
Lawrence, and then Jimi Hendrix for Zach.
And you can see Zach is bummed out because he's like, I know I can't practice at home. Or
Blondie for Blondie.
Yeah, Blondie for Blondie.
That was funny. Yeah, that was some of my favorite stuff in the movie was just like the random rock lore. And
I love that. I was like, God, I want that as homework.
I could just feel the pain when he was like, "Aren't you excited, man?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess so." And it's like it's just that pain of like you're really hyped for something and someone who's involved like just doesn't give a shit, and it's like, all right,
because he sees Zach, he's like. He's
his protege.
He's like you're the lead guitarist. Like you're the man. You know? And he's not into it.
And also, he's like the soul of his thing.
And then the next day, he sees his dad and
it clicks. Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, it makes sense," because his dad's like scolding his son, and he's like, "You only play guitar once you finish homework,
and no more rock."
So he gets
it's literally which is why Twisted Sister video.
Which is why he goes right up to Zach when later on he's like, "Let's write a rock song," and he specifically pushes Zach like. what would you do if you were getting pushed around or whatever?
Yeah. Right, yeah.
He specifically goes for him.
Because he was being pushed around by his father.
I think that's what the writing in this movie does so masterfully. It shows and doesn't tell you. It's just really good. Like, it'll give you hints of things before revealing the reasoning behind it. And I think that's really cool. It's like, it's a kid's movie, but it's not, it feels like it's not a kid's movie.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's not just for kids.
I'm not saying it's deep or anything. I'm just saying it's nuanced enough to not like be shitty to watch as an adult. Sure. There's something there for adults, you know.
Also, the chalkboard that it shows with the history of rock and all the bands, you could actually
that was cool.
You could actually go online.
Web, what is it? What do they call that? Like it's a web.
It's like a flow chart or something.
Oh, I guess it would.
Yeah, but it also connects things. Yeah, it's kind of a flow chart though. Yeah, it's like very like from my obviously today, but like at the time, it had like Susie and the Banshees on. It
had a lot.
And Iggy Pop and the Stooges. It's like
that's what I was thought. I was trying to like look at like. Because he broke it down by genres, and then they had them like all sectioned off and like what fit where between the genres and stuff.
Yeah.
And one thing I know it is psychedelic rock, Iggy Pop, but it's definitely very like raw and punk, and
it's proto-punk. It's punk like 15 years or 10 years too early. It was psychedelic.
So it was psychedelic rock.
Their first album was psychedelic.
Sure, yeah.
But then they went straight up, just full on.
So like, I felt like it could have been like pushed a little bit more.
This is the thing. What I would argue is that's impossible. You can't do that.
I know.
You know what I mean? So it was almost like a fool's errand, but it was cool to see them attempt it. You know?
Yeah.
But I agree. It's like there's certain things where you're like,
well, that could fit there too,
and and that's just rock. Like if you did that with metal is so.
Well, they broke it down to like
just
metal
a few,
and stuff,
but
probably death.
Metal
like,
could
you
have
probably
its
have to like
own...
pause it to like. I mean, actually,
metal is the most. It's the nerdiest thing because you have people declaring genre. It's the most fractured genre because the second a band that played a certain way changes one element of their sound, fans are like, it's now blank. It's not like it's all fit into compartments. It's like, you know what I mean? So like,
well, like a prime example because they're putting out new stuff today. Slipknot. People like new Slipknot stuff because
it doesn't
sound a little bit different than older. Well,
right.
You know what?
Or
it's like
a big one is like Mastodon or something. Where they start playing poppy hooks and stuff. The reality is
they're still heavy and awesome.
Right. But the thing is when it comes down to fans like that make their identity music that they like.
Yeah.
A lot of fans. This is my thing. I like bands. Yeah. I like bands. I don't like genres.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
There's things I like, and when bands do it, I like them.
Yeah.
Some people they are fans of bands and they like a genre and it's their identity.
Yeah.
So if someone
breaks that identity,
they're not cool.
They're
anymore.
pissed now because that's how they.
Yeah, and I've never been like
the
that.
reality is that music is fluid. Everything is the same, using the same elements. It's like more of a spectrum. Just like we're finding everything is a spectrum nowadays. But it's one of those things where like with that chart, I just was like. I applaud the effort to do a cool and it was kind of like a funny thing too, where it's like this is rock. It'd be like the Civil War, battles, and it's like okay, we're starting off with rockabilly up here, or like roots rock, or like folk music, and I think that's just cool. And reggae and ska, and showing how ska came first, but they're like related and
and I distinctly remember as a kid going on to like schoolofrock.com or something. They had a site, and you could go and look at the.
Interactive.
They had an interactive chalkboard thing, and
that's where I discovered the Buzzcocks.
I went into that.
That's where I first found the Buzzcocks because they were on there.
I went in there all the time. Yeah, there's so many bands just from that and the stickers that are in Dewey's room or whatever.
On the wall.
That
Fugazi,
was that was the first time I heard of like Motorhead, Cannibal Corpse. Just seeing those names, I was like, ooh. Of course, I didn't actually go and listen to Cannibal Corpse for a little.
There's a ton in the van too. I can't remember them all, but
Mayhem, Ministry, I think, are on.
There's a Mayhem sticker in there.
I saw Ministry. Ministry, not Mayhem.
I don't think they go like that dark.
Ministry was.
Yeah, they don't get too much into like metal, like extreme music, but they get into like a lot of the more. Right. But that montage is a thing of beauty. With Bonzo Goes to Bitburg literally being my favorite Ramones song.
Same.
One of the best punk songs ever. Literally the only political Ramones. Well, that's not true, but it's the only one that is written and it's not like... It's like there's anger in that song. It's the perfect thing showing kids like, the whole movie, one of the themes of the movie is like sticking it to the man.
Yeah.
And they picked the perfect fucking
yeah, that's
song
what I was gonna
for
say.
it.
Yeah,
it's like fuck Ronald Reagan. That's what that song is. You know, like
and another
so
thing
good.
about that montage that's great is all the things they learn in that montage they use in their final thing. Basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
all the tricks they learn basically show up later, which I think is really really cool
for sure.
One little line in the teacher's lounge that I didn't notice when I was younger, but I heard it this time, and I just thought it's just weird and funny. So there's just a part where it's when the other teachers are telling Dewey, like, she got drunk one time or whatever, and he gets the idea, you know, okay. But you hear...
Is that when he butters his hand?
Yeah.
No, that's later.
No, this is that scene. But you hear... Principal Mullins just talking with one of the teachers, and she's just talking. She's like,
the PB&J tray.
Well, she's like, now the turkey tray, it touched the peanut butter and jelly tray, and I know you know why this is a problem. And I just thought it was a really funny.
It's because of nut allergies or something.
Yeah, but it's just,
but that's how.
But it's funny how it like. It focuses on that line for 10 seconds or whatever.
It's to show how uptight she is. I thought that was a brilliant thing. Because,
it is, yeah.
And the cafeteria lady's just like, oh, yes, of course. I was trying to think, why would that... I was like, oh, it's probably because of peanut allergy or something.
Yeah.
Or kids... Because parents at a prep school are going to be like, my child can only... they were going to...
Yeah, I just thought it was
she's so used to dealing with, crazy parents.
Yeah.
It was a really funny line, though, because I wrote it down, too.
Yeah. So then they go out to audition... But they have to sneak out, obviously, which is a badass scene because it plays Metallica's version of The Weight as they sneak out and get in the van. And it's just
Killing Joke. I liked Killing Joke from that, too, because I looked up The Weight.
Well, as I watched it the first time, I didn't even know it was Metallica. Mm-hmm. And they were my favorite band at the time. And then I realized, I was like, oh shit, that's Metallica. And then I realized that wasn't their original song. It was a cover of a song.
Kind of a deep cut to use in a...
it's not.
But it sounds perfect.
It fits perfect.
It almost feels like an escape, almost like a Mission Impossible type
really
thing.
Does,
where it's just
it's an escape mission or something.
Yeah, it's really good.
So then they go... That's when Dewey gives the speech to Tamika because she's like,
Sleeves
I'm
those
fat.
Kids.
They're gonna make fun of me, and he gives a nice pep talk
for
her.
And Franklin.
And he does leave all the kids by themselves, which is just so hard to watch.
Yeah.
Which it ends up actually mattering because then Freddie kind of fucks off.
Yeah, goes hang with some dudes in their van.
I thought this was an important part of the movie because this is the moment when Dewey grows up a little bit. Up until this point, he's literally been more of a kid than the kids, I think. And now Freddie, who's he's kind of reveling in this new rock life.
Yeah, well, he's picked up the punk rock life,
but he thinks this is punk to just go against people,
right?
And it is obviously the whole time he's go against authority, question authority. But this is a moment where Dewey shows that he is a bit of an adult because he's like, you have me worried sick. And then he lectures the guys in the van who are just smoking and drinking with a kid.
Right.
Which is that's fucking weird. You wouldn't
even a normal, I want to say most bands wouldn't do that.
It's they'd be creeped out. They would be like, why is this kid in our van?
This kid here?
This kid's cramping our stuff. That, but it was good for the story. But but it just shows he's those are the real losers.
Right.
I'm a loser, but at least I know that's not.
You don't do that with a kid.
And he's teaching Freddie they could have fucking abducted you or done God knows what, or you could have tried your first hit of heroin.
He's like
it was implied.
What did he say? He's like, I'm gonna send a note home to your parents or something like that.
And then he turns to those guys and is like, what you did back there was not cool. These are kids and they are impressionable and you better watch it. And he's just being this
because he was but he was threatening Freddie to you knew he was
he grabs him by the ear.
I'm gonna he was gonna say, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, but he's like, I'm gonna send a note home to your parents.
Yeah. That was the first time he was a teacher.
Yeah, he said
a normal teacher.
Because he knew he couldn't say what he wanted to say. And he's like, oh yeah, I am an adult. He just
yeah, it's a turning point for him to be an adult, and he's put so much into this, and so he comes back to the group, and they're like, okay, here's our, and they're in this awesome theater, and they're all excited. And they're wrapping up. They're packing up for the day.
They missed the auditions.
We overbooked the auditions, and he kind of has a moment, he throws a fit or whatever, and gets security called on him. And then Summer of all people has the brilliant idea. Yeah. So this is fucked up, but it's awesome. Basically, so then he goes back and once again manipulates the people who are auditioning the bands, like kind of like stakes them out and is like, look, sorry, but I told these kids I volunteer at the hospital.
St. Margarita's. I didn't notice that a real thing. Younger. No, I don't think, but that's what he said. St. Margarita's.
I mean, Margarita sounds like it could be an actual name. Maybe I know it's a drink, but I'm just saying like, but yeah, everything about it was bullshit. Yeah. So then he's like, yeah, I told the kids they could be in the Battle of the Bands, and they're like, why the fuck did you do that? Yeah. And he's like, because they're terminal. And I just like make a wish.
Like basically. All of them are terminal. Like
as they're out laying on the street, like dying, basically.
They look depressed.
That was great when they're just laying there and it's like, look at them, terminal. Yeah. So he comes out and he's like, we're on the bill, and
it works. But I have to say, it's honestly probably good they didn't audition, because at this time the only song they would have known is Dewey's shitty. I
didn't think about Legend that. Of the Ring. My god, they would not.
If they actually auditioned, they wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
Can we talk about also this movie takes place in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
So these kids go from basically like, because yes, the kids in real life can play the instruments, but in the movie they can't play instruments yet. They learn. Well, Zach can, because he's like, this is the one thing. If I had a little criticism,
Lawrence is a keyboard player, right?
Well, he can read anything too.
Right, but
that's
he can.
True.
Yeah.
So. But it's one of those things where it's like they really fucking nail it. But and this is something. It's not even a real criticism of the film. It's just something you have to suspend your disbelief. Is that in real life, when you're learning something or you're getting people to play a new idea or something, like in the movie, it's just like 10 seconds and it's just like, okay, play what I just played, and they just fucking nail it. You know? But that's just how it works in a movie.
And then another amazing song used, the Immigrant Song, which a bit of history to get it in there, because Led Zeppelin doesn't give out their rights.
Do.
Back then, because I remember watching on the DVD behind the scenes thing. There's a video of Jack Black basically with the whole crowd behind him when they were doing the Battle of the Bands thing
at the theater.
Doing like a plea, like begging Led Zeppelin to let them use the Immigrant Song for the movie, and obviously they ended up getting to use it, which added so much to that scene.
It was cool. It was just it's significant because I don't think they had been given. I think there was maybe one other movie that they had allowed their songs to be in, and this was like kind of a turning point where like after that, the Immigrant Song has been in like Shrek, Thor, like so many different movies. But yeah, it's kind of a cool.
It was in Shrek.
It's in one of them, isn't it?
I don't know, to be honest. I was just going.
Shrek. I'm not a Shrek fan, by the way. I'm just saying I know. There's a part where a Disney princess or like a fake Disney princess sings really loud or something, and it's the Immigrant Song. Okay. It's just it's just that.
See, okay.
Like I think it's a dumb gag, but I'm just saying like he had to literally beg with like 1,000 people behind him to let them use it. So it made that kind of a cool little. The soundtrack fucking rocks on this. There's so many good songs, and that's just a crazy one that they actually got.
So back in the classroom, and finally someone actually notices there's music coming from the classroom. So Principal Mullins comes in, but they hit everything.
They had the security let them know ahead of time, and like
left one guitar. So she's like,
"What's that?
What do you got?" And he's like, "All right, I'll do some of my my interpretive alternative teaching." And he does the
math.
So
math is cool.
Math is a wonderful thing. And then, but what I want to
know
off
is your ass.
3 minus 4 is.
That's the moment where like it kind of breaks the like established rules of the thing. Like he literally says, "Get off your ass."
Get off your ass.
And it shows her in her face. It's just like, but it's one of those things where like,
what did you say, ass Simon or something like that?
Well, that's later. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just one of those things where it's like. He's gotten comfortable enough with the principal, and she likes him enough that he can kind of get away with it.
But it is also funny how before...
Oh my god, they're so great together.
Well, he's like or Miss Lemons must be on crack, right, kids? And they're all like, yeah, must be.
No, he's like, she must be on crack. Like, he says it like there is like...
But then they all like nod and agree. It's
that whole scene, it kind of breaks... it's like outside... It kind of breaks the established rules. Right. And it's really funny.
Yeah. She's like, I would prefer you just stick to the normal curriculum. And he's like, well, I did study with Dr. Errol von Strausenberger bacon. And I just love how he adds bacon at the end. He could have left it there and it sounds kind of legit.
That sounds improvised to me. Like
Dr. Errol von Strausenberger bacon. He just adds bacon like a second later. It's so funny to me.
I think those two were fucking with each other a lot.
Improving, yeah.
Because then they go to a bar because it's like, I need to wear her down a bit or get in her good side, you know?
Yeah, so
to get her to agree
let's go get some coffee, and they go to
a fucking bar.
And he takes her to a bar, and she's like, are you sure there's no coffee? He's like, I'm positive there's no coffee.
And he now knows her weakness is Stevie Nicks, so he plays Edge of 17.
Yeah, and she's like...
I love... This was so funny. She takes a little sip of the beer, like the babyest sip, and she's like drunk.
Yeah,
right.
Well, she takes the baby sip, she sets it down, and he goes, plays the music, and then she's like chugging it a little bit, but still in little sips, and she's only drinking like an inch or two out of the mug. And like she's like... wasted.
Yeah, she's like doing like the hippie dance and stuff.
Yeah.
They're doing that's such a great basically anything with Jack and Joan together are like the highlights of the film.
Yeah,
and then they come back and this is so awkward. He's like screaming the Good Times theme.
Oh, and she's like, Please
stop.
Yeah, that was so funny.
He's like,
please stop. Yeah. It's really funny.
They're dynamic.
Okay.
They're dynamic the whole time. I mean, she is like the treasure of the film. Like, oh my God, she's just so good.
Yeah, and I do love how he obviously introduces the idea that he wants to take him on a field trip. But he's like, we could take him to a concert. They play all the classics, Beethoven, Mozart, Enya. Because when I was younger, I just was like, oh yeah, Enya, that fits. And then as I was, because I didn't even really know what, I didn't really know who Enya was. And then as I'm older,
he's just thinking of something.
Yeah, I was like, Enya.
That's the problem. If we name every funny little jewel nugget in this, we will be here all night because this is like literally, it's so fucking dense with jokes. Like
jackpot of quotes.
It's a jackpot.
Yeah. So the groupie girls, I guess, introduce the band name School of Rock, which Dewey loves like a lot. And
I'm not surprised why he likes it so much, but it's better than Pig Rectum, I guess.
Better than Pig Rectum. And then he hears Zach kind of jamming a little bit, and he's like, what do you got? And Zach introduces that he wrote a song, and Dewey's probably like, holy shit, this actually sounds good. We have to learn this.
Yeah, I mean, he's made it clear he's not all that talented. And...
Yeah, so Zach plays
that's the thing. At that point, he's like, dude, Zach, you fucking kill it. I suck. You actually wrote this shit. Like,
and it's a legit good song.
It is. I love the song.
I read I heard in the behind the scenes, like, Jack was like part of getting all the music into, like, the original music into, because his goal was to write all the music for the movie.
Yeah, I did hear that too.
And all he wrote was the Rent song and all the improvised bits,
I see.
But like, he got all of his musician friends to come in, certain ones to come in, and they hired people to write, for example, the No Vacancy songs, like the Fight song, and that song's awesome, and the other one, Heartsick or whatever. I mean, like, it sucks, but it's a good song. It's a good example of that type of song, ballad song.
Yeah.
And this one, which is is it just called? It's
on
Teacher's
the soundtrack.
Pet.
It's called Teacher's Pet. But I don't.
It's called Teacher's Pet, I think. But it's a dude from a band. Oh fuck, what's the name of that band? I don't know. But they get a guy from like a kind of garage rock revival band to do it, and so that's why all the songs are so good, is because they get like legit good songwriters to do it. It wasn't all written by the same guy though.
Okay,
just a bit of trivia, I suppose.
Yeah, and then I was kind of curious because Zach plays the song, and then I wonder if he was pissed at all that Dewey basically changes stuff up. Obviously, it worked for the better, but
that's kind of what I was saying. Like
he's taking over. He's like, why don't we change these lyrics? Like, rock got no reason, rock got no rhyme, which is the opposite of rock is the reason, rock is the rhyme.
The funny thing for me was that scene was like they had recorded the song, and Jack Black was just basically being like, okay, we know what the song sounds like, so let's add the things in to make like the solo is literally verbatim the solo.
Exact solo. Yep, I love that.
I just thought that was funny because it's like he heard it perfectly in his head,
Yeah, he sings the exact solo. Yeah. And I went on to realize later on that the ooh la las or whatever, ooh la la la, it's basically exactly the
Beatles.
You Won't See Me has the ooh la la. I mean, I know it's just a ooh la la thing.
Is okay.
It's a pretty
songs,
common
but
thing,
it's like really similar because that's one of my favorite Beatles songs. I was like,
sorry. Okay, this is the guy who wrote the song. Sammy James Jr. of the band Mooney Suzuki.
Okay.
I've never heard of the Mooney Suzuki, but they're a thing from New York. I think he actually was in the movie too, like one of the dirtbag rockers.
Oh, okay.
Like that are just like strumming in the backgrounds. I think that's the Mooney Suzuki.
Oh, I see. Maybe they were in the band.
They might have been the Van guys, and I think they were the ones who had like the Ventures guitar.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That might not be true, but it looks a lot like them. Okay. So, but then again, all those New York rockers kind of.
I did notice that. I was like,
yeah, where they're walking through on the day of the gig
in the hall or whatever.
Yeah.
So then it all kind of goes to shit because Ned gets the phone call, or no, Ned gets the check. And he's like, oh, I didn't
$1,200. I didn't even work
here. So I'm gonna call about this, and Dewey's like, shit.
Yeah.
And
his face is literally like,
yeah. And Ned's like, what did you do?
Yeah. Obviously, Ned seems a little, a little disappointed, but he reacts a lot more leniently than
he's a pushover.
You would think most people would. He's like, oh, Dewey. What'd you do this time?
He's been dealing with Dewey for his whole life, so this
is not
really, the first...
I mean, he must really fucking like...
But I think this might not even be the worst thing he's done. Yeah. Is what I'm saying. Like I'm just assuming he's been putting up with shit like this for years, so it's not like...
It's just nothing new.
It's the final straw for his girlfriend, but not for him, per se. You know?
Yeah. So, either way, he goes to the...
Parent-teacher night.
Parent-teacher night.
Roz, invited him, because... It's kind of sweet. Like, she's like, you make me feel better because you were just so carefree and don't give a shit. And she's so high-strung. And they pull up to the parent-teacher night, and he's like, Roz,
he's trying to, tell her, I lied to your face.
He's like,
and she's like, no, you're a good teacher. And he's like, fuck.
He's like, I'm not it's another trope that gets used a lot where it's like they're, admitting, but, they just don't, it goes over their head.
Doesn't register right, yeah.
And he's in the fucking parent-teacher he's like, so, I'm teaching your kids all the stuff they
math,
need to know.
Latin.
Science. Math twice, I think.
No, he says Latin twice. Okay. Yeah. Oh, he starts with math and then Latin. He says Latin and math again. I think he
then he's like, so drive safe.
It's all good, and
and then he sees the cop in the hallways.
Yep. And Patty.
And fucking Patty.
One thing that always, since I was a kid and watched this the first time, there's just something that I always laugh at this. When he sees the cop in the hallway and he's looking back and he's like, he's talking to, he's obviously starting to sweat and he goes, yeah. He says, in the exact, literally, it's a sound clip that you could take one, copy it, and paste it, and it sounds exactly the same. I know it's just a weird thing, but if you watch it, it's the exact same, and it just, I don't know, really makes me laugh every time. Because it's just the exact same sound clip. He just said it the same way twice, I'm sure.
And then, in a Are We Still Doing Phrasing moment, he says, I have been touched by her kids, and I'm pretty sure and then obviously at that moment he just...
But let's rewind it a bit. So he starts opening up about...
you're right.
Teaching his kids music.
He shows the parents there's more to them than their grades.
And how he's really touched by their kids and how he's really connected with them. And you kind of see the softer side of Dewey open up and
And the softer side of the parents too. They're like, oh wow, that's cool.
And then he busts the line. He's like, he's like, what he says, he's like, I've
been touched by your kids, and I'm pretty sure I've touched them too.
And then, I like how all of the parents take it that way.
Even the kids too. They're like,
no one thinks maybe he didn't mean physically, but
to be fair, there's a cop there, and they don't know who the guy is. They're literally all like, "What is your name?"
This is true.
Yeah, it's like a scary. That's the thing is the movie. A lot of scary shit happens, and it all gets downplayed for comedic effect. Kids being kidnapped, literally. Kids being abandoned and possibly being kidnapped by someone else who. From the kidnapper, who was Dewey. Yeah. Possible molestation. Like a stranger working. Like, Roz can't catch a break. Like, she should be, losing her mind because she's,
going through so much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's such a funny moment. And then, he just books it.
And then we get back to...
How the hell did he not go to jail?
Because he escaped.
Parents must not have pressed charge. Or the school must not have done press charges.
And for whatever reason, Patty didn't, he's at my apartment.
Patty just wanted to, get revenge for doing that to Nick because she's all about just she just wants him out of the apartment basically. Right. So
in that point they get back to the apartment and it's maybe
you need to leave. Well, and rightfully so. I mean, he just he could have ruined Ned's career.
Yeah, and I know Dewey's the main character, and obviously we side with him. And although Sarah Silverman's character, she's a bitch, but I mean, she is completely justified in everything.
Ned is she just goes. Basically, Ned is the only, like I said, the only real victim here, and he is finally starting to be like, even I'm sick of your shit now. Like, if you're gonna crash here and mooch off me, you can at least be a decent human to me. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those things where it's a bit, he's hit rock bottom. He's back to, passing out on his floor without any hope of anything. His band, he's essentially kicked out of another band.
Yep. So then the next day,
they're in the classroom and they're like,
no teacher, weirdly.
What the fuck do we do? Are we just gonna like go back to our regular curriculum, skip the shit? Freddy's like,
basically they got a taste of glory and they're not gonna. They're like, fuck it, let's just go.
Freddy like threatens to kick. Who's asking?
Lawrence.
And he's like, what's Lawrence? They like go back and forth through each other, and then what's her name's like, I will fucking shove those sticks up your ass.
Yeah. Like, she's like, we worked too damn hard to not play this show, and then they're like, all right, let's do it.
And they're like,
well, it's cool because
you gotta go get Mr. Sneebly. Like,
you can see how he rubbed off on the kids. Like made them more all the things that they weren't at the beginning. Now they're confident.
They're definitely more themselves. They have their own personalities.
In just a few weeks, they already have got to.
And also, it would be a huge waste of time if they didn't go in. Right. Yeah, they're out of their shells. They hijack a bus, literally break into the apartment, kick him in the face while he's sleeping and drag him out.
Well, one of my favorite parts is like, dude, get the fuck up. Like, we're going to the show. And he looks outside and he sees the bus. He's like, punk rock, dude. That is so punk rock.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it plays this bass line.
Because they all just skipped school, got the bus driver, like, let's go get him.
He's like, that's so cool. And the bass line that it plays, for some reason I was younger, I was like, I gotta know what song this is from. Because I thought it was from like this actual song, but obviously it's just a song they just made for the movie. But I just didn't understand that when I was younger, so I searched for so long. So I was like, "This sounds badass," but now I understand it's just something they wrote for the movie.
Little ditty. Yeah, so they roll up to the theater, and like they're next at the show.
Like, what the fuck? Where are you guys?
The parents show up, and they're like trying to. This is really funny. They're trying to get in, and the ticket taker, he's like, I don't give a fuck who. Like, obviously they didn't say that. I don't care if your kid's in there. You're not getting in here without a ticket. So they're like,
let's just buy tickets.
Yeah, that's such a great moment.
So maybe we should just buy tickets. He's like, let's go buy tickets.
Like, and so backstage, they're like, it's great because that's the moment when Dewey is like, I am not as good as you guys. This is your moment.
Right.
We're doing Zach's song.
Right.
I'll sing it because I'm...
Zach actually mentions
to tell him to sing it because he's not
like, Zach, he's like,
the kids are like,
you sing it.
They're like nervous because they're like, all the lighting cues are wrong. I'll fix it.
They haven't practiced it as much. But I do love, he's like, we have only one song, so I think we should play Zach's. And Zach says, but why? It's like, because the other one sucks ass. Yeah. And this one's actually good.
And he gets his little Angus Young outfit on. And it's cool. All the kids are like in their element. And then on stage, like Spider's doing his little sexy dance in his chaps, as Fiend calls it, arm chaps, chestless chaps, and they're playing this like fucking song.
That's even better. Song
Chestless chaps. They're playing the song they were practicing earlier, and if you listen and you don't hear the lyrics as A minor G, then what's wrong.
But the song sucks, and then they go out, and the crowd is like rabid.
But first they do a prayer to the rock gods.
That is true. That was the moment when with my grandma, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Like, she might not approve.
She's Catholic. So it was just one of those things where, so they pray to the rock gods, they go out there, and it's like that awkward thing where they're just kind of like, when you haven't seen this more than once, it's like, are they going to suck? Obviously they're not, but it's like that moment where it's like all of a sudden, and they just fucking sound pristine. Like, amazing. They haven't been practicing with real amps.
Even once Summer says that, like, we haven't even practiced that song a whole lot.
But not only that, but they've never they just use house equipment for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
how would, like, I mean, this is movie magic, of course, you're supposed to ignore all that, but like my first thing, and I'm like, the tone is like,
and levels
perfect.
And stuff.
Yeah, no sound check. It was just perfect. And they like rock it and they
Freddie
nail it.
on a completely different drum set than what he was using in the.
But that's the power of rock.
It's also because he's been listening to Rush.
That's true.
Yeah, he's ready for all those.
Ready for all
the symbols,
all the extra toms and shit.
Symbols.
It's a really great sequence though. It's a great scene because you see the parents. They're like, whoa, blown away. They're like, my kid's awesome.
Lawrence's dad is like, your son. Or what's he say?
Very skilled.
It's very skilled. And he's like,
so is yours.
Yeah, and you can see. Each kid, like the fog machine kid, he's doing something.
They
the
all
light show
get to
is
show
great.
Light show's good,
The dancers, they're dancing like they have a cool choreographed thing.
It's great, yeah.
It's really cool, and the big moment is Dewey's redeemed with his stage dive. Yeah.
It's like, okay, bring me back.
You could just watch that scene and just go through and like there's just so many little things.
And it is really cool. Yeah, the parents, because you would think they would just fucking rush that stage and grab their kids or get that. Get the teacher who
it's just
kidnapped them, basically.
But in reality, it's just too impressive.
And they're like, they don't get to see this from their kids, like, basically,
That's
But you gotta also think maybe at one point in time, they were like that too. And it kind of brings them back to reality. Yeah. Like, shit, maybe we are a piece of shit to our kids. Like,
or maybe we're just caring about some of the wrong things. Like,
we need of shit, but
we need to let them
strict and like
we need to let them express themselves. Yeah, that was the thing with all those kids is they had no expression at all.
Yeah, and the song starts and they're just kind of blown away. Like, wow, our kids rock.
Yeah, even the music they were playing at school was not expressive. It was just classical music out of a book. They weren't like really, it's just one of those things where it's like a really great climax to a film.
Yeah, it
is.
The
song is awesome, like on its own. And then so they get off stage and they're like, holy shit, we fucking rocked it. And of course
they get second.
They don't win. Yeah, they don't win.
Vacancy wins.
Which I thought was really funny. There's this one guy in the audience who fucking loves
the one no vacancy fan.
Yeah, no vacancy.
It reminded me of wrestling for some reason. Like there's one guy who just loves a guy, like one wrestler. Yeah. Like it was just really funny. Like everyone else is like, what the fuck? There's no way they were better. The thing I didn't get was there's a line where he's like, it was a beauty contest. And I'm like, then you guys were like way more interested, like visually. You had like a stage show.
Yeah.
But but that's how it had to be. It's the message is that it doesn't winning awards and adulation doesn't matter.
What matters.
They're the ones that also got the encore.
Exactly.
Not the winners.
And rock is about just doing what you want, not like being the best
and having fun with it.
And we get this great. It's sort of what's the word? It kind of like we get a fade out of them starting to go into the encore.
It's a long
way to the top, which is a good fit,
so we can just assume they practiced that one off camera.
Yeah, I actually would have really liked a different. It's not that I like that song. I just feel like it was a weird choice. Is all.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's the one that they. I think this is probably the case is that it was something that when they were practicing for the movie, it was one that all the kids could play really easily. Because they jam on that like one take for the whole credits. Yeah. And it's really actually kind of impressive, even though like it's nothing crazy. But
and Ned's over there. Okay, this is a C.
Yeah, I love
and he's
that.
Like,
oh my god!
And he's like, yeah, it's. You kind of got it, like,
and it's not even
basically
close.
Right.
It's so funny. The little kids they can't even get their fingers on there, and they're just like
little baby guitars. Too.
But it's a great moment, and like she's booking. Summer is booking them for like tours and stuff.
Yeah, School of Rock becomes an after-school
you guys
program,
are desperate for us. Well, it's like quit being
so
cheap,
us.
or like
quit lowballing us.
Quit lowballing us.
Yeah, but you're right. It becomes an after. Like Ned gets to do teaching, but he's not like doing. He's doing it on his terms.
Yeah,
and at this point. And Patty's out of the picture.
Yeah, he dumped her when he slammed the door on her.
Yeah.
I took that as when he slammed the door. I was like, "I'm fucking leaving you," because she was like, "Why don't you stand up for yourself?" Bam!
That's his redemption.
A great scene.
It's a great arc. Yeah, that whole everything. That whole like sequence is really good. Everyone kind of coming together.
Yeah.
But then and then Dewey gets to be in a band, and like also be a mentor,
have a job too, like
exactly, like doing something. He actually, like he said, music's his whole life. So if he wasn't doing that, he's like, what am I supposed to fucking do?
Yeah, so it all works out.
Right. Yeah,
and they jam on it. Everybody gets a solo, but it always bothered me because when I was younger, I was learning to play bass guitar.
Yeah, Rebecca.
And everybody gets a solo except the bassist.
Yeah. Well, I will say I went back and watched. They had a reunion. They had a reunion show, and everyone, even the people who don't play instruments, had solos.
Yep, I watched that last night. Actually,
it's really fun. Like this movie is basically just like the ultimate feel good. lighthearted movie. I'm not a big I love Jack Black. I love all of his work for the most part.
Yes.
But this is not a guilty pleasure movie. This is just a pleasure.
A great movie that I think anyone can enjoy. It's funny.
I think it'll stand the test of time too, because Rock ain't gonna die.
Yeah. Can't kill rock and roll. And I do think it's maybe worth mentioning that School of Rock does have even more of a legacy, as they have now. There's a musical.
Oh God!
For it, which I watched
written by Lloyd Webber, right?
Yeah, that's Andrew weird. Andrew Lloyd Webber doing it, but I've seen one of the songs, the "You're in the Band" thing or whatever.
Is it good? It's very Broadway, isn't it?
I mean, it's very. I think it's.
I hate Broadway
fun.
sound.
It's fun to watch.
Modern Broadway, like everything
it's
sounds
very,
the same.
musical-esque.
Yeah.
And then there's also I watched a little clip from it because I was curious. I didn't even know this existed, but it's been a few years old. They made a damn TV show called School of Rock, a Disney show. It's like it had like 3 or 4 seasons. I watched the little clip and I just was like, okay, this is kind of cringy, and turned it off.
Yeah, well, if it's a Disney show, then yeah. The thing I found interesting was that there was a sequel conceptualized, but it never got even close.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
Because Jack Black was like, I really want to do a sequel selfishly. It was going to be him going on a bus, like a summer school thing, and taking kids across the country and like going to famous rock clubs and like CBGB and like going like basically like rock history, you know, which could have been really cool. But he's like, yeah, I really want to do a sequel, but the guys, I would only do it with the original team, obviously, and those guys don't do like they do something and they move on.
Yeah.
And so he's like, there's no way it'll get made because they're just like originators, you know, they don't want to dwell on one thing
too much.
So this is kind of like, it's just a magical piece of media and entertainment that like kind of like shouldn't be as good as it is, but it really is. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
It's a great movie that definitely had a big impact on my life, really, like we were talking about earlier, really affecting.
Yeah, when we were already kind of getting into music, it really it was like we were kind of
opened the doors to everything.
We were walking down.
The door
that path
was already open, and it slammed it open even more.
It was cracked, and you could peek into it, but then it just.
Yep.
It was like we got launched on a catapult down that path, as opposed to just walking, meandering it
came
down.
at the perfect time.
All right, so that was School of Rock. It was fun talking about that with you guys.
It was a blast.
So, we are The Vortex on YouTube. Our channel is youtube.com/GrimChorizo, where we play games. That's basically all we do. We do other stuff.
And other occasional fun videos, too.
Yeah. Do you got anything you want to plug other than that?
Actually, yeah. Okay. So, I'm hopefully going to start trying to do some stuff on Twitch as well for The Vortex.
Only 10 years too late. No, I'm kidding.
Which I do have of a Twitch. It will be whatever, twitch.com/ whatever the thing is.
Twitch.tv.
It's also Grim Chorizo.
Okay.
I did like a test thing tonight, and hopefully going to try and do some more stuff. And you guys, also involved, other people, not just me.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, branch out a little bit. It's still The Vortex. It'll still probably go up on the YouTube channel too. But just to try, sometimes some things work better as a live stream kind of thing.
Sure.
And I might get a few more eyes. So, so just wanted to put over the Twitch, maybe subscribe or follow, and if you never know, might go live.
Yeah, and you're Grim Chorizo on all the stuff.
Yep, Instagram, check out The Vortex, enjoy The Vortex on Instagram. I'm Grim Chorizo.
Fiend, you're on the channel with us.
Thank you.
And I'm Chris, Zombie Wolf on everything if you want to follow me. And we'll be back soon with another piece of entertainment to entertain y'all. And until then, keep on swirling. Sorry, we left you out.
Yeah, no, I just forgot. I forgot.
Well, I forgot too. I was like, is it keep on swirling?